Mr. T. Kumar, who is the Director for International Advocacy for Amnesty International in the United States, and he is definitely one of the best world experts on the situation of human rights in the region. He has a very extensive knowledge, and it is really an honor to be here again by your side. And you please make your statement.
Thank you. Thank you very much. I'm extremely pleased to be here in a sad way, please, because you're organizing, the Baloch people are organizing this event to bring the continuing suffering of their people back home, and no action has been taken, domestically or internationally. We have been working on human rights abuses in a number of countries, and I have been working on Pakistan for almost 15-20 years. There are other issues in Pakistan, but Balochistan stands out. Why Balochistan stands out is since 1947, since the independence, the abuses have been happening, but it intensified in 2000. And mass-scale disappearances, torture, extrajudicial executions, and other abuses are continuing to take place. Why it stands out compared to other countries is that even though all these abuses are happening, it rarely gets attention. In Pakistan, everyone talks about Pakhtun, that the northwest frontier where the Taliban fight is going on. The suffering of Baloch people never get attention. The disappearance is far greater here, by the way. Even in northwest frontier, the disappearances are happening, but here it's far greater. That's why these events are extremely important to bring attention. So what's happening in Balochistan? From the human rights point of view, what's happening in Balochistan is something, first of all, as I mentioned, disappearances. It stands out, it differs from other countries where disappearances take place. The reason is, in other countries, at least the intelligence agencies and other military groups do it clandestinely. They don't do it publicly. Sometimes they do. But in Balochistan, they do it publicly, they don't care. They go in front of hundreds of people and drag people around, and that person disappears. That means literally dead. They'll go into houses with uniforms, take people in, and they will deny they have been taken into custody, and they disappear. Children have disappeared. Families have been terrorized so much, they will not even complain to us or to any other human rights groups that people have disappeared. Out of fear, their loved ones who have been abducted may be killed if they try to tell the story. Or they themselves or their other brothers, sisters may get disappeared. So that level of terror has been going on. Not for 1 year, 2 years, but years and years it has been going on. That's why this issue of mass killings, disappearance, extrajudicial execution need immediate attention to ensure two issues. Number one, stop this behavior. Number two, to ensure that at least some justice being done to the people who lost their loved ones. We are not talking about 1 or 2. Thousands have disappeared. Thousands. Numbers range from 20 to 40,000. But the numbers may be much higher because people are scared to even report that people have disappeared. When they take people into this custody, sometimes or majority of the times you will never find the bodies. But Pakistani's intelligence agencies also use the abduction, execute people, and bullet-ridden bodies have been thrown in streets to terrorize the local population. that if you speak out, then this will happen to you. So some bodies have been thrown out in the streets. When people speak up, they themselves get into trouble. They are not, number one, allowed to go outside. Recently, 2 people who were trying to come to New York were stopped from leaving. Eventually, they were allowed to go. One non-Baloch person who voiced concern was executed. So even locally, no one can speak out in a meaningful manner. That's why international community has to get involved. So whether international community is doing its due is something very disturbing. Not only international community did not raise, I mean, they make speeches, you know what that means. By making speeches, oh, it should stop, it doesn't mean anything. Pakistanis knew it doesn't mean anything. The people who speak like Washington or European Union, they knew it's not going to happen, nothing. They don't mean anything, and Pakistanis also knew they don't mean anything. So in a nutshell, nothing is happening. But certain instances is disturbing. United States in particular have been giving large amount of weapons to Pakistan to fight war on terror. Before bin Laden was killed, they were given high-tech listening devices, bunker-busting bombs to go after bin Laden. They thought he's hiding somewhere in a cave, so let's Pakistanis go and bomb the hell out of the place and kill this guy. But you know what happened. He was living in a nice place next to an army camp. But what happened to these weapons that were given, that was used against Balochistan? There is a famous leader called Nawab Bukti. He was killed in a cave. He is one of the main, highly respected, some 70-year-old, 78-year-old leader. He was former chief minister, leader, highly respected. They killed him using American devices, listening devices, to track him down. They killed him with the same weapon that was given to track down bin Laden and killed him in the bunker-busting bombs. When we raised the issue, there was evasive answers. So what happens is you are not only not speaking out, but the weapons that were given have been used not against the intended target of war and terror, which we have questions about that, but their own people. That's what the question is. So whether the US is going to be keeping quiet is the issue. By the way, we paid very special attention to Nawab Bukti because he got into this fight with the military because of a non-Baloch woman. He's a medical doctor who was raped, a Sindhi woman who was raped in Balochistan. And he asked for justice for that woman who is not even a Baloch with the military. That triggered the fight. So literally, he gave his life and hundreds of his own people were killed because of the justice he asked for a woman being raped who is not even a Baloch. Today we have another issue. The F-16s have been cleared and State Department is going to give. The argument they are saying is war on terror. That's an easy argument any country is now using to legitimate grievances of people. Here Baloch people have been targeted as people, but they have been singled out and kept quiet because of their political opinion and for whatever reason they are doing. So we are urging US to ensure, get a public commitment, you make a public request that these F-16s are not used against people of Pakistan. Could be Baloch, which is majority times used against Baloch. It could be even Sindhis, Punjabis, or Pashtuns. That's not the issue. They should get a commitment. We hope US government, with some sense of decency, will raise this issue to get some commitment from Pakistanis. But the bigger picture questions arises, what are we going to do to the continuing disappearances, extrajudicial execution in Balochistan? That's what the challenge is. These events happen, but it goes on and on and on. So we hope some trigger will mark and some issue will pop up so it stops. Then the justice issue comes. If justice is not done, then it accelerates more pain. The second one, which Pakistanis should know, that they can't continue doing it. One day or another, it's going to become international. And there will be call for international tribunals. And let's see where the so-called defenders of human rights in the Western world stand up for this killing of innocent Balochis. Thank you very much.